Want to learn how to attract a woman with words? It's easier than you might think. You might be surprised to hear this, but words are actually all it takes to make a woman feel attracted to you. And so if you searched for this video, you have the right idea and the right strategy in mind. Fair warning though, your words might actually ruin your chances with a woman. How? There are two attraction-killing habits that most men have, and that you probably have too. These are two ways of talking to women that seem normal and acceptable. Unfortunately, they actually make the ladies feel disgusted at you deep inside. So are you making these two mistakes? Let's find out. Before we get started, do take a moment to scroll down and click the like button below. After you do, I'll tell you the terrible two, the conversational mistakes that actually turn women off. Ready to know what they are? Then go ahead, click like, and I'll tell you all about them. Do it now. Done? Great, thanks. And let's continue. So here are the two terrible mistakes men make when talking to women. The first mistake is glorifying. This is when you talk to a woman in a way that puts her on a pedestal. For instance, do you make sure to never say anything to hurt or offend her? Then you're glorifying her. Or when you shower her with too much praise and too many compliments, yep, you're glorifying her. Worst of all, if you like a woman, do you confess your feelings and profess your love? That's glorifying. And guess what? Any woman you glorify like that will feel disgusted by you, and she definitely won't feel attracted to you, as I'll explain in a short while. For now, let me tell you about the second mistake, which is faking familiarity. You might have heard of this before. This is when you clearly and obviously voice your support for what's important for her, and it's all in an attempt to make her like you more. For example, if you were a liberal and she was a conservative, and you start talking to her like a patriot, well, guess what? You're faking familiarity. And women can smell it a mile away. Trust me on this. So now comes the important question. Do you make any of these two mistakes with women? Hopefully, the answer is no. And yet, just so we're clear, let me explain why women find these two behaviors disgusting. When you glorify or virtue signal a woman, you're essentially telling her she's above you. She's a queen. She's a prize to be won. She's someone you're trying to prove yourself worthy of. And when you put a woman above you, then the only way she can look at you is down upon you. And put simply, no queen will ever fall in love with her slave. Do you agree or not? Feel free to pause this video to write agree or disagree in the comments below so I'll know how you feel. Anyway, now let's move on to the obvious next question. What should you do instead? What's the right way how to attract a woman with words? Here's the answer. So what should you do instead? Don't make her feel good. Make her feel understood. Here's what I mean by that. The average woman gets approached by men all the time, and most of these men try to make her feel good. They praise her, they try to make her laugh, they agree with everything she says. And as a result, the average woman is frustrated. She's seen it all before. She craves a deep, true, real connection with a man. And that's the key. That's your shortcut to attracting a woman using just your words. And to make this real connection with a woman, you'll want to use a technique I like to call the cold mode engager. It's a simple yet powerful conversation technique. With it, you can make any woman feel a strange yet irresistible emotional bond with you. Imagine if you could talk to a woman and make her feel more connected to you than to her best friends. That's the power of the cold mode engager. And I'll show you how it works in just a moment. For now, if you learned something new and valuable in this video so far, do take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Just scroll down and click the subscribe button below. After you do, I'll show you how to start using the cold mode engager technique today. Are you ready? Then click subscribe now. We'll move right on after you do. Have you subscribed yet? Great, welcome to the club. So let me tell you about the cold mode engager. My friend and mentor, the attraction coach Derek Rake, was the one who first taught me this technique. In case his name sounds familiar, Derek is an attraction coach. His school, Shogun Method, teaches men how to lead strong, successful relationships. There's just one big difference. Derek doesn't use conventional dating advice or pickup artist tricks. Instead, he uses proven principles from applied psychology, hypnosis, and cognitive behavioral therapy. That's what got him the title Mind Control Attraction, and one of his most important lessons happens to be the hot and cold cognitive modes. Here's what that means. Derek says that any woman is in one of two cognitive modes, hot mode or cold mode. By default, a woman is in cold mode. This is when she's rational, logical, and analytical. It's the mode she's in when she's working, solving problems, or meeting strange new men. While she's in cold mode, she's defensive and skeptical of men. And that's why it's so hard to form a bond with a woman you've just met. She has her defenses up on high alert. Your goal, then, is to put her in hot mode. This is when she's dreamy, imaginative, and eager to experience new things. It's also when she lets down her defenses and lets you see the real her. So how do you do that? With the cold mode engager technique. That's how. Here's how it works. First, in your conversation with a woman, you grab her attention by saying something like, "Hey, let me ask you a question." Or, "Hey, I've been wanting to ask you something for a while." Or even, "Can I tell you something?" This statement will make her focus her complete attention on you for a moment. For a few seconds, she's in hot mode. And that's when you tell her a compelling story about how you and her share something deep in common. For instance, let's say you know she's bored in her life and somewhat depressed. You can tell her, "I think I know how you feel. You're doing everything you've ever wanted to in life, and yet you feel dissatisfied. I felt that way too. I thought being successful would make me happy. I had to learn the hard way that it's in meeting like-minded people, kind of like you, that makes life worth living." Here's another example. Let's say you both share the same controversial political belief. For your cold mode engager, you can say, "I never thought I'd meet someone who's so much like me. I'm usually ostracized from my political positions wherever I go. Yet here you are, an interesting person who understands me. Something tells me we should spend more time to know each other better." See how it works? The key is to find something deep that you have in common with her. It might be a painful experience you've since learned from. It might be the way you see the world, or it may be a shared belief that's quite unconventional. Combined with your first statement, which grabs her attention, it's a winning formula. That's the cold mode engager technique, and it's enough to make a woman feel the first spark of attraction for you. You'll know she's attracted to you when she starts showing signs like the following. She might start smiling and brushing against you more. Or she might start opening up more, telling you her deepest and most intimate secrets. Or she might even start talking about romantic topics like love, dating, and sex. You'll know it when you see it. And now that brings us to the obvious next question. What next? When you spot the signs, what should you do then? At that point, the cold mode engager has done its job, and it's time to use the next technique in the process. What is it? It's a conversational technique called fractionation. The cold mode engager makes a woman feel attracted to you. Fractionation makes her addicted to you. As in, imagine a woman falling madly in love with you after just one or two conversations with you. That's how fast and powerful fractionation is, when used correctly, of course. And if you want something more out of your interaction with this woman, whether it's a date, or a relationship, or a friends with benefits situation, or anything else in between, then fractionation is your absolute best shot at getting it. So now comes the question, what is fractionation, and how do you use it? I'll let the expert himself, Derek Rake, give you the answer to that. He's the one who taught me all about fractionation, and I can tell you there's no better teacher you could hope for than Derek Rake. So here's what we'll do right now. At the very end of this video, a link will show up in this video. That link will take you to Derek's online masterclass on mind control. There, he'll explain everything there is to know about fractionation, especially how to start using it on women today. And so, the next step is up to you. Are you ready for a big change in your love life? Are you ready to stop being so unlucky with women? Are you ready to see them fall madly in love with you within one or two conversations? Then go right ahead. Click this link and join Derek's online masterclass right now. Do it, and I'll see you at the masterclass.